Welcome to this in-depth exploration of Stoic philosophy and its practical applications to mastering your emotions. If you're feeling overwhelmed by stress, frustration, or emotional turbulence, you're not alone. Many of us struggle to stay grounded and calm in the face of life's challenges. However, the Stoic philosophers believed that while we cannot control external events, we can always control our reactions to them. In this video, we'll delve into 12 Stoic techniques that will help you develop emotional resilience and mastery. These timeless practices, rooted in ancient wisdom, will guide you in navigating life's ups and downs with grace and inner peace. Technique 1. The power of perception. The first and perhaps most crucial technique in Stoic philosophy is the understanding that it's not events themselves that disturb us, but our perception of them. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, men are disturbed not by things, but by the view they take of them. How does this help with emotional control? When we experience something unpleasant like criticism, failure, or rejection, it's easy to fall into negative thinking. But Stoicism teaches that these events are neutral. It's our interpretation, often based on fear or past trauma, that leads to emotional suffering. For example, if someone cuts you off in traffic, your immediate reaction might be anger. But what if you took a step back and questioned your perception? Perhaps the person is rushing to the hospital or simply made a mistake. By changing your perception, you can reduce emotional turmoil. Practical exercise. The next time you feel overwhelmed by emotions, pause and ask yourself, is this event truly bad? Or am I labeling it that way? Challenge your initial perception and see if a more balanced view can help alleviate negative emotions. Technique 2. Practice of premeditatio malorum, negative visualization. Premeditatio malorum, or negative visualization, is a powerful Stoic technique that involves imagining worst-case scenarios in advance. This practice may seem counterintuitive, but it's designed to prepare your mind for adversity, making you more resilient when challenges arise. Why does negative visualization help? By mentally rehearsing potential difficulties, you're less likely to be caught off guard by life's inevitable challenges. For instance, if you consider the possibility of losing a job, a loved one, or facing illness, you're mentally prepared for those situations. This reduces the shock and emotional upheaval when something difficult happens. Negative visualization is not about pessimism. It's about building emotional strength and acknowledging that life is uncertain. When you prepare for the worst, you're more likely to handle any outcome with composure. How to practice. Set aside time each day to imagine potential obstacles or hardships. Consider how you would respond with Stoic calmness. Remind yourself that while you cannot control external events, you can always control your reaction to them. Technique 3. Understanding the dichotomy of control. A core tenet of Stoic philosophy is the dichotomy of control. According to the Stoics, there are things within our control and things outside of it. The key to emotional mastery lies in focusing solely on what you can control and letting go of what you cannot. How does this apply to emotions? Often, we become emotionally entangled in things beyond our control, other people's opinions, the outcome of events, or even the weather. This leads to frustration and anxiety. By focusing only on what's within your power, your thoughts, actions, and responses, you reduce unnecessary emotional suffering. For example, imagine you're worried about a presentation at work. Instead of stressing over how your audience will react, which is beyond your control, focus on preparing as thoroughly as possible, which is within your control. This shift in focus reduces anxiety and helps you feel more empowered. Practical exercise. Create a list of your current concerns and categorize them into 2 groups, things you can control and things you cannot. Commit to letting go of anything outside your control and channel your energy into the areas where you have influence. Technique 4. The impermanence of everything, memento mori. Memento mori, or the reminder of death, is another Stoic technique that helps put life's challenges into perspective. The Stoics believed that regularly contemplating death enables us to live more fully and appreciate the present moment. Why is this relevant to mastering emotions? When we realize that life is fleeting, many of the things we worry about seem insignificant. Fear of failure, embarrassment, or rejection becomes trivial when viewed in the context of our limited time on Earth. By embracing the impermanence of life, we learn to focus on what truly matters, reducing the emotional weight we attach to minor inconveniences. For example, when you're feeling overwhelmed by stress or conflict, remind yourself of memento mori, that life is short and none of this will matter in the long run. This practice helps you shift from emotional reactivity to a calm, centered perspective. How to practice memento mori? Spend a few minutes each day reflecting on your mortality, not as a source of fear, but as a reminder to live purposefully. Let this awareness guide your decisions and interactions, helping you prioritize peace and emotional balance over fleeting concerns. Technique 5. Voluntary discomfort. The Stoics believed that we should embrace discomfort as a way to build resilience and toughen our minds. By voluntarily exposing ourselves to discomfort, whether physical or emotional, we become less vulnerable to life's inevitable hardships. How does this help with emotional control? When you intentionally practice discomfort, such as taking cold showers, fasting, or facing social anxieties, you become mentally stronger. You learn to tolerate discomfort without allowing it to overwhelm you emotionally. This translates into greater emotional fortitude when you encounter real challenges. For example, fasting for a day or walking instead of driving may seem like small acts of discomfort, but they help build your ability to endure hardship with grace. The more you train your mind and body to handle discomfort, the less you'll be rattled by life's unpredictability. How to apply? Start with small acts of discomfort, skip a meal, take a cold shower, or push yourself physically. Over time, increase the difficulty of these voluntary challenges and observe how your emotional resilience grows. Technique 6. Amor Fati, love of fate. Amor Fati, or love of fate, is the Stoic practice of accepting and embracing whatever happens in life. Instead of resisting reality, Amor Fati encourages you to see every event, good or bad, as part of your personal journey and an opportunity for growth. Why is this important for emotional mastery? Much of our emotional suffering comes from resisting what is. We often wish things were different, whether it's a failed relationship, a missed opportunity, or an unexpected setback. However, when you adopt the mindset of Amor Fati, you stop fighting against life and start embracing it as it unfolds. For example, if you lose a job instead of feeling defeated, Amor Fati teaches you to view the situation as an opportunity to pursue something better. This acceptance reduces emotional resistance and helps you find peace amid chaos. How to practice when things don't go as planned. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "How can I use this to my advantage?" Find lessons and opportunities in every setback. You'll be surprised at the emotional lightness this brings. Technique 7. Work with purpose. A key Stoic teaching is that to live well, we must work with purpose. Having a strong sense of purpose gives you direction, reducing emotional restlessness. People without a clear purpose tend to get lost in distractions and trivial worries, making them more vulnerable to emotional swings. How does purpose reduce emotional suffering? When you work on something meaningful, daily frustrations become irrelevant. A greater goal gives meaning to challenges. You stop focusing on momentary difficulties and stay focused on the bigger picture, which gives you strength and resilience to handle emotional highs and lows. Practical exercise. Take time to reflect on what truly matters to you. Ask yourself, what is my higher purpose in life? Are my daily actions aligned with that purpose? If it's not clear yet, start exploring what brings you satisfaction and a sense of fulfillment over time. Your purpose will become your emotional compass. Technique 8. Practice detachment. Detachment is one of the most challenging Stoic practices, but also one of the most liberating. Excessive attachment to external things, whether to status, material possessions, or even people, can be a significant source of emotional suffering. The Stoics believed that by cultivating detachment, we can achieve an unshakable inner peace. How does detachment help control emotions? When we're attached to something, our happiness becomes dependent on that thing or person. This makes us vulnerable and emotionally unstable because we're constantly afraid of losing what we value. Detachment teaches us to appreciate what we have without becoming dependent on it for our happiness. For example, imagine losing something valuable like your phone or an important material possession. A Stoic, by practicing detachment, acknowledges the impermanence of these things and avoids despair. Detachment doesn't mean indifference, but rather an acceptance that nothing is permanent. How to practice detachment? Start small. If there's something in your life you feel overly dependent on, try going without it for a day or a week. This could be as simple as avoiding social media or reducing unnecessary shopping. Reflect on what is truly essential in your life. What are the things you think you couldn't live without? By identifying these attachments, start working on the process of gradual detachment. Technique 9. Emotional mindfulness, prososh. In Stoicism, prososh refers to the constant mindfulness and attention to your thoughts and emotions. The Stoics believed that maintaining an awareness of your inner state is crucial to mastering emotions. It's about being conscious of how your thoughts shape your emotional responses. Why mindfulness is key. Without mindfulness, emotions can easily spiral out of control. When you're unaware of your emotional triggers, you might react impulsively or negatively. Practicing mindfulness helps you observe your emotions without getting caught up in them. For example, during a stressful meeting at work, you might feel anxiety rising. Instead of letting that emotion take over, practice prososh by acknowledging your feelings and choosing to respond calmly. How to practice? Throughout your day, make a habit of checking in with yourself. Ask, what am I feeling right now? Why am I feeling this way? When an intense emotion arises, pause before reacting. Observe the feeling without judgment and choose a measured response. Technique 10. Journaling. The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, were known for their practice of journaling. Writing regularly helps clarify thoughts, process emotions, and track progress in personal growth. This practice is not just about recording events, but about reflecting on your inner world and understanding your emotional responses. How does journaling help with emotional control? When emotions are swirling inside you, journaling acts as a release valve, giving you a space to express and analyze them. By writing, you can step back from your immediate feelings and gain perspective. Over time, you'll notice patterns in your emotional responses and be better equipped to handle them. How to get started? Set aside 10-15 minutes each day to write about your emotions, thoughts, and challenges. Reflect on how you responded to difficult situations and what you could have done differently using Stoic principles. Technique 11. Objectivity in self-reflection. The Stoics emphasized the importance of being objective in evaluating yourself and your actions. Often, our emotions cloud our judgment, leading to poor decisions or skewed perceptions of reality. Why objectivity is crucial. When you step back and observe your actions objectively, you remove the emotional charge from situations. This allows you to see things clearly, without the distortion of fear, anger, or insecurity. The more you practice objective self-reflection, the better you become at navigating life's challenges without being overwhelmed by emotions. For example, if you have an argument with a loved one, instead of being consumed by anger or resentment, take a step back and ask, what role did I play in this conflict? How can I approach this more rationally next time? How to apply objectivity. After each emotionally charged event, take a moment to review what happened from a neutral perspective. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? And what would a Stoic do in this situation? Technique 12. Embrace the present moment. Finally, one of the simplest yet most profound Stoic teachings is to live fully in the present moment. So much of our emotional suffering stems from regret about the past or anxiety about the future. The Stoics taught that the only time we truly have is the present, and by embracing it, we free ourselves from unnecessary emotional burden. How does this help with emotional control? When you're fully present, you're not weighed down by past mistakes or future uncertainties. This presence of mind allows you to face each moment with clarity, reducing emotional noise. The more you focus on the present, the more peaceful and centered you become. How to practice? Throughout the day, practice being mindful of the present moment. When you notice your mind wandering to the past or future, gently bring it back to the here and now. Engage fully in whatever you're doing, whether it's working, spending time with loved ones, or simply taking a walk. This focus will bring emotional calm and clarity. Conclusion: master your emotions with Stoicism. These 12 Stoic techniques are powerful tools that you can start applying today to live with more peace, clarity, and balance. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control everything that happens around us, but we can always control our reaction to these events. By incorporating these practices into your daily life, you'll not only learn to control your emotions, but also cultivate a stronger, more resilient and balanced mind. So from now on, whenever you face an emotional challenge, remember, you have the power to choose how you react. This journey is yours, and the time to start is now.